listening to A Woman's Touch with DJ Revolution, bringing you the exceptional sounds of music from outstanding independent women musicians from all around the world. AiiRadio, Artists International Independent Radio, supports the independent artist and gives creative musicians a voice.
I have a special guest today, and we've been friends for some time, and I have been dying to have her on my show to talk about her new album. Well, it's not new yet because it's not available yet, but it's coming out. And her name is Laura Casale, and some of you may have heard of her, and some of you may have not. We are going to give you a special treat and play a few tracks that maybe you have never heard before. And that is the whole point of this show, is to kind of give you a chance to have a sneak peek at her music. Also, we're going to be talking about her friends, her fans, her fundraising project for the album. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Nick. I'm doing great.
Welcome to the show.
I am so glad to be here.
You know, I am just psyched to have you here. I've been wanting to get you on the show for a couple years now, ever since I first found out that you were doing this album. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have been... music is my life. I was born to play music. My grandfather requested, before I was even born, for my parents to have a daughter, for a granddaughter for him, because he'd only had one son. That was my father, and he put it straight out there. I want her to play the piano, and so I ended up being born on his birthday, and I was his only granddaughter and his first grandchild, and he started buying me pianos and keyboards from the very get-go. And
well, it was a brilliant thing to do. But my question about that is it something that you automatically just gravitated to and enjoyed, or was it something that you felt like, oh my God, why am I having to take piano lessons?
I loved every minute of it. It was a natural born talent. I was so enthralled by music as soon as I could start listening to it. From the little 45s back in the day that we were playing. So yeah, it was a natural talent. I was naturally gravitated, and my parents had to try to tear me away from the piano, from practicing, and try to get some chores done around the house.
You know, it's normally the opposite way around. Most kids would rather do the chores than to pick up an instrument. Well, you said you're a piano teacher. Where are you a teacher at?
I'm a teacher. I have a private piano teaching business here in San Diego. And I've been doing that for about since 2001, when I moved down here from Montana. I'm originally from New York. I grew up in New York on Long Island. And hello to all of my New York friends. And I used to talk like a New Yorker. I lost the accent over the years, but I can switch back into it when I want to.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't do accents.
Right. Well, it was my naturally born accent. I mean, I grew up around it for 21 years, so it was kind of natural.
So now, do you play live out anywhere? Do you play like in coffee houses, or do you? I used
to, but I put that on the shelf.
Why?
In 2003 to learn how to record my music, because I was playing out a lot. I had my own band. I was playing solo gigs, and I got so tired of people asking me if I had a CD. Because I was playing my original music as well as covers, and I could not produce a CD for them. And here I was, in my 30s and going on my 40s, and they were kids, 17-year-old kids that had CDs.
Right. Right.
I'm sorry. And so eventually I just got burned out on the playing live, hauling my piano around in this big anvil case, an 88 key weighted piano, hauling PA gear all over. And I got with my son and I said, if you can teach me how to start digitally recording, I would love to learn how to do this myself. So I just started spending time and weekends basically teaching myself the ropes of recording here in my home studio. And I built up the equipment and the software needed, and I just put my nose to the grindstone and my nose to the books, and I started learning how to record music, and then eventually learning how to engineer it and mix it. And so now we have an album.
Yeah,
all these years later.
And it is an amazing album, and we're going to talk more about that here in a minute. So your son, is he a musician as well?
He is. He's a fantastic musician. He plays just about everything.
Now, is your grandfather still alive or no?
Oh, no. No, he died actually when I was 14 years old. And what was really cool was that I was invited to play for my next door neighbor's wedding at 14 years old. It was my first paid gig.
Wow. How much
and
did you
my grandfather, I played for the processional and the recessional, the organ in the church and everything. And they invited my grandfather to come to that. And he was elated. And, he passed away about a month after that wedding.
Uh-huh.
But he was so sad. I think he really felt so satisfied.
That's really kind of an awesome story, that here's the man that really wanted a granddaughter to become a pianist, and then you were actually able to perform for him before he died. That's beautiful.
Yeah, brings tears to my eyes.
I bet that's a memory that you'll never forget. How hard was it for you to figure out what tracks you wanted?
It wasn't hard at all, because this album to me is like a story and a kind of an autobiography and a journey and a book of my life in the last decade or so. And it's written out of a lot of life experiences. So it kind of has a progression, and it really does tell a story. Many people might not recognize it or catch on to that, or they may. So it was really not too hard for me to decide which tracks were going to go on.
So you're also working with a fantastic friend of ours.
Yes.
A mutual friend, Ed Unitsky, and of course, Olga.
Yes.
Great
Two
people.
awesome friends.
Oh, they're fantastic. I don't know what I would do without them.
I know. They are amazing. They are amazing. I've known Ed since I think it's 2006 or 7 from MySpace, way back in the day.
But that's how I became friends with him, on MySpace.
Right.
About the same time. So
excellent.
Just a wonderful man. And he's done a lot of projects for us. And what he did for your album is fantastic. I love it. In fact, I remember seeing a photo of you wearing the T-shirt of your album.
Right.
Sitting in a grocery store in a bunch of apples.
Yes. Ed and I were actually just having fun with that. Because, that's the kind of person he is. And even across this great divide of countries, him being in the Ukraine and me being on the west coast of the United States, and our language barriers, and it's just amazing how the sense of humor and music can reach across that great distance, and you can communicate in the world through the internet. And so, he was just making a joke about, he was mentioning something about apples. And I said, well, should I run out and get a picture of myself in the grocery store? And I said, yeah, go. And so I went out to the local grocery store, and I got permission from the manager to just take a picture behind some apples. And they thought I was crazy, I was kind of a little nuts. And I had the manager take the picture for me, and I sent it to Ed, and the next thing you know, he's got this picture of me in front of the big earth.
I love that photo. That is probably one of my favorite photos.
It is for me too. I love it.
So how did the artwork come about for this album? I mean, was it something that you had envisioned, or is it something that you collaborated with Ed? Or did you say, Ed, this is what I'm calling the album. Do you want to do something for me?
No, I didn't even know what I was going to call the album. I had my song, Now Is Where You Are, and I wanted to post it. I had just started my account on Reverb Nation, and I wanted to post my new mix of that song. And I needed a little thumbnail. I needed a little piece of artwork. And so I simply asked Ed if he could send me some sort of an earth, because that is what I was sensing for this song as being the icon of Now Is Where You Are. Because, you know, just a little concept, okay? When you're here on the ground, it might be like 9:30 in the morning, right? 9:25 here it is for me in San Diego, 12:25 there on the East Coast.
Right.
And that is where you are at that time. But if you go out into space, you take a rocket up there, you can look down at the Earth and you can see 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast of the United States. And you can also see 12:30 on the East Coast all at the same time.
You know, I never thought about that, but that is a really cool concept.
So now is where you are. And so when you look at the Earth from the space point of view, voila. So anyway, I asked Ed, and the next thing you knew, he sent me this Earth. And we started developing back and forth a little bit with he sent me the hands, and I said, can you put a little light glowing between the palms? And then we worked back and forth a little bit on the font. And boom, there it was. The next thing you know, there it was. And everyone was thinking, that's the name of the album. And so I went with that.
It's a great title.
Well, the song I wrote, I was inspired back when I was living in Montana. And I was going through some really hard times, just coming out of a long marriage, raising my two boys. At the time, they were only 14 and 16. And, as a single mom and going through some rough times. And I was just simply standing by this beautiful flowing stream. Montana is the last best place in America, I'll tell you what, as far as the environment, nature goes. It's gorgeous. And I was just standing there and I was noticing how the water was just flowing, just going. No one ever turns it off. It just keeps going.
Right.
And I just got this, this impression that everything's going to pass. All these hard times are going to go. The sun will come out tomorrow. Just wait and see.
I actually remember seeing that on Facebook. And I can't remember if it was a photo of you and you were talking about that, or an actual video of it and you were talking about it.
It was a little video I made.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and so I went home and I just started singing about Now Is Where You Are, and everything will pass by as sure as the morning sun breaks the sky. Everything's going to change. You're never stuck.
I think we should play a song so people can hear what we're talking about. Did you want me to play that song?
We'll play that song, I guess. That's the title track, and that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right, folks, we will be back with Laura in, it looks like about 6 minutes. So hope you guys enjoy this song. This is the title track from her upcoming album, Now Is Where You Are, and I will bring you back here shortly.